Welcome to today's deep dive. We've got a highly detailed product page to look at today.
Yeah, from HDTV Supply.
Right, for the Xencelabs XMPD24US Pen Display 24.
Yeah.
And our mission for you today is decoding this spec sheet. Like, is this $1,749 device just a pricey external monitor or, an actual game changer for digital creatives? Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, to really understand the value here, we have to start with the physical canvas. I mean, before we even touch a pen, the hardware architecture really sets the ceiling for what an artist can actually execute.
Right. And looking at the build, they went with a 24-inch edge-to-edge tempered glass display. And it's wrapped in a magnesium alloy housing, which, honestly, that alloy choice really stands out to me.
Definitely.
Because it makes the chassis rigid but light, almost like the frame of a high-end bicycle, so there's zero flex when you lean heavily into like a sweeping brush stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically upgrading from balancing a flimsy sketchbook on your knee to working on a perfectly weighted studio drafting table. Plus, it has that 4K resolution and, 1.07 billion colors?
Yep, 1.07 billion. And what's fascinating here is that the magnesium alloy isn't just for structural integrity. It's actually highly thermally conductive.
So it's acting as a heat sink.
Yeah, that's exactly it. A massive 24-inch 4K screen pumping out 330 nits of brightness generates a lot of heat. And if that heat gets trapped under the glass, it can actually warp the internal electromagnetic digitizer matrix.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Right. It can even cause localized color shifting, so the alloy actively dissipates that heat, preserving the hardware's overall accuracy.
Which is absolutely critical when you're pushing a 99% Adobe RGB color gamut.
Exactly.
Because, any digital artist already knows why hitting Adobe RGB matters for print, but engineering that level of uniform color accuracy without light bleed across a massive pane of edge-to-edge heated glass is, it's a serious technical hurdle.
It really is an engineering feat. But, a perfectly calibrated screen means absolutely nothing if the actual drawing experience introduces a disconnect between your hand and the software.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really interesting. Xencelabs tackles that physical barrier by including 2 battery-free pens right in the box. So you get a wide barrel and a thin barrel.
Which is a really nice touch, giving you that choice right away.
Totally. And both feature 8192 levels of pressure sensitivity and 60-degree tilt recognition. And that tilt isn't just a gimmick. The hardware actually calculates the angle of the pen barrel in real time.
Right.
So you can drop your wrist and shade with the side of a digital graphite pencil exactly like you would on real paper. But I do have to push back on another piece of hardware they include. The Quick Keys remote.
Oh, you're skeptical of the wireless remote.
I am, yeah. It has an OLED screen and a physical dial, but looking at it, I just have to wonder if it's another piece of desk clutter to misplace. Like, does offloading shortcuts to a separate floating block actually improve workflow, or does it just overcomplicate things?
Well, it is a valid concern. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the remote is designed to keep your eyes entirely on the canvas.
Okay.
With up to 40 custom shortcuts per application, you aren't constantly reaching across your desk to hit multi-key commands on a traditional keyboard.
I guess that makes sense.
Right. Your non-drawing hand just rests naturally on the remote. You spin that tactile dial to instantly resize brushes or switch layers, and it just completely eliminates the cognitive break of hunting for keys.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the actual studio setup? We have this highly engineered canvas and these specialized tools, but integrating a massive 24-inch slab into an existing, probably crowded workspace is a bit of a logistical challenge.
It is, and Xencelabs addresses that by including an adjustable stand that tilts anywhere from 16 to 72 degrees, and it even allows full rotation into portrait mode.
Oh, wow. Portrait mode on a 24-inch display.
Yeah, it's huge for comic artists or illustrators. But the real standout is a feature called virtual tablet mode. Basically, if you have other monitors on your desk, you don't need a separate mouse.
Wait, how does that work?
You press a button, and the Xencelabs screen essentially turns into a giant blank trackpad. It lets your pen map in control up to 3 external displays.
That is a seriously clever way to centralize the workstation, but we do need to factor in the $1,749 price tag. It's a significant capital expense for an independent creator.
It undeniably is. They do try to mitigate that risk with a 30-day return policy. But looking at the user validation on the page, the investment seems to translate into tangible results.
Right, like that one review from a professional graphic novelist.
Exactly. They explicitly called it a big step forward after years of using other pen tablets. Ultimately, this isn't just about raw specs. It's about seamlessly blending physical ergonomics with digital precision.
It really is trying to banish the disconnect between the idea in your head and the execution on the screen.
Hmm.
Which actually leaves me with a somewhat provocative thought for you to chew on.
Oh.
Well, as our digital tools eliminate all these physical barriers and flawlessly mimic real-world materials without the mess, how will that change the very nature of the art we create? Like, does the physical struggle with a medium, say the unpredictability of actual wet ink or the drag of raw charcoal, actually contribute to the soul of the art?
That raises a really important question, one we might all need to answer the next time we pick up a pen, digital or otherwise.